Hello everybody, it's Non-Scene News here, and today we've gotten a lot of interesting news today, and probably one of the biggest news come today is coming from the United States. As probably all of you know, it seems that a trade war has begun in the world, especially between the United States and China, but we've gotten news today that Donald Trump has slapped tariffs on Canada, Mexico and China. So the United States has slapped Mexico with a 25% tariff on all goods coming from Mexico into the United States, as well as Canada. But unlike Mexico, Canada has also been tariffed with its energy resources. So this could be coal, liquid natural gas. So all coal and liquid natural gas from Canada will be tariffed at 10%, and obviously China has been tariffed 10%. But we've just gotten news about 3 minutes ago that China has just announced a 15% tariffs on coal and liquid natural gas and 10% on oil and agricultural equipment from the US. So China has bit back very hard. So China announces a 15% tariff on coal and liquid natural gas and 10% on oil and agricultural equipment. And China has also announced an investigation into Google. So very big news. So the trade war between China and the United States has started. And regarding the Canadian and Mexico issue, Donald Trump explained why he slapped tariffs on his neighbors' countries. According to Donald Trump, Canada has been very abusive of the United States. Trump noted that we subsidize Canada by the tune of about $200 billion a year, the US President Donald Trump stated. He also noted that this is a retaliation to a certain extent of millions of people floating into our country through Mexico and Canada. So the main reasons Donald Trump has given, clearly, he's saying that, one, the reason he slapped 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada was, one, because of the border problem. So a lot of illegal migrants cross the border from Canada to America, from Mexico to America, and obviously transport illegal drugs with them. Also, sometimes like this. And his second point was that a lot of the Canadian and the US deals are very one-sided to the Canadian side. So according to Donald Trump, Canada has been very abusive of the United States. But it seems that this actually might be all over. So the trade war, at least between America and Canada, seems to be over. We've just got news today that Justin Trudeau apparently held a phone conversation with the President of America, Donald Trump. So according to his post on social media, Justin Trudeau stated that I just had a good call with President Trump. Canada is implementing a $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new helicopters, technology and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border between America and the United States. Between Canada and the United States. In addition, Canada is also making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list the cartels as terrorists and ensure 24/7 eyes are on the border. And also launch a Canadian-US joint strike to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. I have also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl, and we will be backing it with $200 million. And Justin Trudeau has also stated that all proposed tariffs will be paused for at least 30 days while we work together. So Donald Trump's 25% tariffs on Canada has just been removed for at least 30 days, according to the Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada. So very big news. So it seems Donald Trump and Justin Trudeau have reached somewhat of an agreement to put 10,000 more troops on the border between each other, and obviously try and reduce the illegal immigration going to America, and try and limit the fentanyl coming into the United States. And the same situation has also, it seems, have happened in Mexico. Donald Trump has posted on his social media that Donald Trump stated that I just spoke with the president of Mexico. It was a friendly conversation. where she agreed to immediately supply 10,000 Mexican soldiers on the border separating Mexico and the United States. These soldiers will be specifically designated to stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal migrants into our country. We further agreed to immediately pause the anticipated tariffs for a 1-month period, during which we will have negotiations headed by the Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the Secretary of Treasury and the Secretary of Commerce, and the high-level representatives of Mexico. I look forward to participating in those negotiations with President of Mexico as we attempt to achieve a deal between our two countries. And that's not the only news we've gotten from America today. We've also got news that Donald Trump has appointed Marco Rubio, the US Secretary of State, as the US Aid Acting Administrator. So the official statement from the US State Department has also declared that it is now abundantly clear that a significant portion of the US aid company funding are not aligned with the core national interests of the United States. So if you don't know what US aid is, it's kind of an organization that gives American money to, I believe, third world countries to give humanitarian aid to, let's say, maybe Syria or places that are just not doing too good. But it seems that a lot of corruption has been going on there. So we can see this receipt here, thanks to Elon Musk and his efficiency company, Doge, has uncovered classified documents of the US aid company doing some weird things. So if you can see this receipt here, we can see $26,490,383 have been given to Georgia according to a lot of media, to interfere into the elections. So the US spent apparently in one single grant alone $26 million on the Georgian elections. So apparently, according to rumors and stuff, apparently they funded the protests and stuff that was going on there. So this is all, you should take this in a grain of salt. That's not proven yet. So very interesting news. And according to Donald Trump, he loves the concept of the company of the US aid, but apparently, according to Donald Trump, they turned out to be radical left lunatics. The concept is very good, but all of the people are radical left lunatics. This is according to Donald Trump regarding the US aid company and its documents that have been released. So very interesting news. And we've also gotten some very big news coming from Panama. So we've got news that the United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio has arrived in Panama for his first state visit for a foreign country since being sworn in as the Secretary of State of America. So the Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with the Panaman president and his foreign minister in the capital city of Panama, so that's Panama City, to address the critical regional and global challenges. Secretary Rubio informed President of Panama and his ministers that President Trump has made it his determination that the current position of influence and the control of the Chinese Communist Party over the Panama Canal is a threat to the canal and represents a violation of the treaty concerning the permanent neutrality and operation of the Panama Canal. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, made it very clear that the status quo is unacceptable and that the absent mediates changes. It would be required that the United States take measures necessary to protect the rights under the treaty, and Panama caves into US pressure and won't renew the Treaty of Understanding with China on the Silk Road. So Panama is now abandoning all trade agreements with China due to Marco Rubio's visit, and he said he was very serious of the matter, and Panama is now won't renew its treaty with China. So very big news coming from the Panama Canal. We've also got news that the all LA fires have apparently fully been contained after 3 deadly weeks. Here is what the flames have left behind, though. So, at least 29 people have been confirmed dead by result of these fire, and over 57,000 acres have burnt, and over 16,000 structures destroyed. So, very sad news coming from LA. But the good news is that it seems, according to the LA fire compartment, it is now fully contained. So good news from there. We've also gotten some big news coming from the Congo. So we talked a little bit about this in yesterday's video, how there's a military operation going on between the M23 rebels and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So we've got news that Congolese protests urge to take action against Rwanda. So in the capital city of the Congo, the Congolese protesters have rose up. The Congolese protesters have demanded support for the DRC, so the Democratic Republic of Congo, against the M23 militants who have seized Goma and threatened Kinshasa. They have also urged that the EU is to cancel its cooperation agreement with Rwanda, accused of backing the rebels. So after the Angola-led mediation failed, M23 resumed its offensive in the eastern DRC. The government blames Rwanda and demands its withdrawal. But the M23 rebels have declined. So there's been huge protests in the Congo about the situation. And the UN says that at least 700 people have been killed in intense fighting in Goma. So if you don't know what Goma is, it's this major city here on the border of Rwanda. So about 700 people have apparently been killed in the intense fighting in Goma, the largest city in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, since Sunday. The UN spokesman said that 2,800 people have been injured as M23 rebels backed by Rwanda captured the capital of the North Kivu province. So very big news. We've also gotten some videos of the M23 rebels kind of parading through the city of Goma. So if we can see this video here, we can see it seems to be, if I'm getting this right, a T-55 tank rolling through the streets of the city. And as if we remember, at the very start of this war between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, 288 Romanians were mercenaries surrendered to Rwanda after crossing from Goma and now under M23 control. So we remember Rwanda did capture a huge amounts of Romanian mercenaries at the start of the war. We've just gotten more news that Rwanda has now deported more than 200 Romanian mercenaries who were operating in the Goma direction on orders from the Congolese government. The private military company surrendered to the M23 rebels and the Rwandan army after being surrounded, and these 200 mercenaries are going back to Romania. So very big news. We've also got some news today that the M23 rebel group has demanded that South African and other African military forces withdraw their forces from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. We've also got news that the M23 spokesman stated that it must be clear that we have no intention of capturing the city of Bukavu, which is right on the border between Rwanda and the Congo, but it's on this side. So if you see here, this is the city we were talking about. So according to the M23 rebels, they have no interest in capturing this southern city here on the other part of the border between Rwanda. And we've also got news that according to sources that we've gotten now, we've gotten some news that the M23 forces have announced a ceasefire on all of the fronts in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo starting tonight. So I have to do some more research on this. So right now we've got news that a ceasefire might be coming in place. We don't know for how long. It could be in 2 days. It could only last 5 hours. It won't probably. We don't know. So very big news coming from Rwanda. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got some news today coming from the country of Chad that France has now withdrawn from its last military base in the country of Chad. So with this withdrawal, the French military no longer has any presence in the African country or in the African region of Sahel region for the first time in over a century. So we've got news that every single bit of French soldier, every bit of equipment, every single thing has been packed up by France and they have left the country. So not a single French soldier is now in Chad. We've also got some news today coming from the Egyptian border and the border of Gaza. So Egyptians are now protesting at the Rafah border crossing against Trump's desire to resettle Palestinians from Gaza to Egypt and Jordan. So the country's foreign ministers have, the country's foreign ministers of Jordan and Egypt have already stressed the necessary of establishing an independent Palestinian state rather than relocating local residents to other countries like Egypt and Jordan. Earlier, we had news that, according to the NBC News, cited an unnamed official that the Trump administration is still grappling with how to rebuild Gaza and where to relocate some 2 million Palestinians at this point. So if you know that Donald Trump has been discussing a lot about relocation of people in Gaza to maybe Egypt or Jordan, maybe temporarily, we don't know, but it seems that both Egypt and Jordan has completely refused this. And we've also got on news today that dozens of Egyptian tanks and armored vehicles have been deployed to the Egyptian city of Rafah, well, the other side of it, and near the Strip in a move that contradicts the peace agreement with Israel. So if you can see this video here, the Egyptian army has set up divisions with thousands of tanks deployed across the region, with training activities continuing non-stop for several days. So there is a state of a high alert in the Egyptian area. Israel media reports. Now let's head to Russia. So we've got news coming from Russia today that the Russian embassy official Instagram channel has published this video. So you can see this video confirms the sale of transfer of Su-35 fighter jets of the Russian Federation air superiority fighter to Iran. So if you can see, this is completely published by the Russian government, and according to this, Russia has sold Su-35 fighter jets to the country of Iran. So it didn't detail how many jets this was. It could be 6, it could be 10, it may be 12. We don't know. Or it could be 3. I don't know. So interesting news. We've also got some news today coming from Ukraine and Russia in the war. So I don't usually actually cover any of the war reporting coming from Ukraine and Russia. There's plenty of better people who report it than me. But we've got news today that a Russian fighter jet has reportedly shot down a Ukrainian Su-27, killing its pilot. So the 831st Tactical Aviation Brigade confirmed the loss of a 24-year-old Ukrainian Air Force captain, Ivan Bolotov, described as a skilled and experienced pilot. He's been serving, this pilot here in the bottom left corner, the Ukrainian pilot of the Su-27. He has been serving since the beginning of the conflict in February 2022. Details of the time, location and circumstances of the engagement between the Russian fighter jet and the Ukrainian fighter jet has not been disclosed, and the Russia's defense ministry has reported in its latest briefing that its fighter aircraft downed a Ukrainian Su-27. And the next news we're going to be talking about today is coming from Keith Kellogg. So Keith Kellogg is the Trump administration special envoy to Ukraine, which he has been tasked to end the war within 100 days. So Keith Kellogg did an interview with Mainstream News where he stated that ending the war in Ukraine is in the interests of the whole world, including the US. Keith Kellogg stated. He emphasized that Washington is considering the possibility of putting pressure on both Russia and Ukraine to start the negotiation process as soon as possible. Keith Kellogg added that the administration of the American President Donald Trump has a robust plan to start negotiations on the settlement of the war in Ukraine. Keith Kellogg also stated his desire that Ukraine should hold elections. If you didn't know, there's been no Ukrainian election in Ukraine due to the martial law that has been in place, so which allows Zelensky to stay in power for, it seems to be, the rest of the war. So until Ukraine's stable and ready to vote, of course. So there you go. We've also got news that Donald Trump is now suggesting to Ukraine that exchanging Ukraine's rare earth for US aid. So Donald Trump is now suggesting that if Ukraine wants US weaponry, it would have to obviously exchange Ukraine's natural precious materials to the US for weapons. And a lot of people have criticized this, and the most important one is the Chancellor of Germany, Olaf Scholz. The Chancellor Scholz criticized Trump's statement on accessing Ukrainian rare earth materials in exchange for aid, emphasizing that Ukraine's victory plan aims to use its resources for the future. He stated it would be selfish and self-centered to use them for defense funding during the war. And this, along with this, a lot of foreign ministers have of a lot of Western countries fear that a lot of Ukrainian really rare natural resources might fall under Russia. So the first one was coming from the Estonian foreign minister. The Estonian foreign minister stated that Moscow would have an enormous trove at their disposal, which would allow it to consolidate power in key industries like defense and energy and further its geopolitical ambitions. And should Russia take control over the minerals of Ukraine, it would be a disaster for NATO. So this is coming from the Estonian foreign minister. And it seems to me that a lot of Ukrainian minerals have already fallen to Russia, I believe. I believe it's in the Luhansk region where a lot of resources of Ukraine is. So don't quote me to that. I believe that's true. So you have to double check on that one. We've also got some statements coming from President Zelensky of Ukraine. Zelensky has warned that excluding Ukraine from talks between the United States and Russia on the war in Ukraine would be very dangerous. He stressed that the negotiations should involve the United States, Ukraine, Russia, and the representatives of the EU. The president also suggested that Donald Trump could pressure Putin into negotiations by threatening sanctions on Russia's energy and banking sectors while maintaining military support for Ukraine. We've also gotten some news today coming from Moldova that Moldova has just approved the supply of gas to gas transit to Transnistria, the breakaway province of Moldova, which is not a recognized country at all. So Moldova has just approved the supply of gas to Transnistria, which will be purchased with the EU grant. So it's not just giving gas to Transnistria, it's actually more like a loan. Because if you didn't know, Transnistria is in it's in an energy crisis right now due to Ukraine shutting off Russian gas to Central Europe. So Transnistria has declared a national emergency an energy emergency, which Moldova is now supplying Transnistria with gas, but it's a loan. So interesting news. We've also gotten the latest polls coming from the Romanian election. So we've got news that the independent nationalist candidate Călin is now polling at 47% in the race to become Romania's next president. So you can see this latest graph coming from the Romanian presidential polls. It seems that the independent national candidate Călin is now seen as first place, as 47% in the race to become Romania's next president. So very big news. If I had to describe him, again, he's very nationalistic. He believes that some parts of Ukraine should be in Romania. I believe he's very anti-supporting the Ukrainian war, and he is set to become the next president of Romania. So I'll keep you updated if he does. We've also got some protests coming from Serbia. We've got news that bikers from Belgrade, along with Kosovo war veterans, have arrived in Novi Sad, the city here in Serbia, to join the student protests that have been raging on in this city. Meanwhile, large columns of citizens are making their way to the city via the highway, to also take part in today's demonstration. As part of the protest, Novi Sad will completely be blocked off for at least 24 hours. So all bridges leading to the city of Novi Sad have apparently been blocked. If you can see this video here, we can see this exact bridge being blocked off. So according to the latest statements, all three bridges leading into the city of Novi Sad have apparently been completely blocked off. So I'll keep you updated if anything else happens there. And the next news we've gotten today is coming from the French Republic, where we've got news that Macron has vowed to double the military budget of France. So we've got news that Macron has vowed to France to double its military budget. The move would raise Paris's defense spending to 120 billion. So people are saying that this is a bid to win favor with Donald Trump, who is urging NATO members to increase their military budget to 5% of GDP. So France has doubled its military budget and will be spending 120 billion euros on its military budget. So very big news. We've also got some interesting news coming from Denmark. The Danish foreign minister stated that 80% of Greenlanders' residents do not want to join America. It is up to them to decide their fate. So he's saying that Greenland can become independent if it wants. If you didn't know, Greenland is a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Maybe in the near future, Denmark would maybe join the United States or become its own, might become its own country. We've got some news coming from the United Kingdom. We've got very big news coming from the kingdom today. So we've got news that for the first time, a third party leads the general election polls in the UK. So Sky News poll ranks Nigel Farage, the most populist Reform UK party, as the most popular political force in the nation at 25%, 1% ahead of the ruling Labour Party. So Sky News is now showcasing that the Reform Party is now the most populous party in the United Kingdom itself. So if the elections were to start now, the Reform Party would win. So very big news. The Reform UK Party under Nigel Farage takes the lead, and this is the first time a third party leads general elections in the UK. So very big news. We've also gotten some news today coming from Turkey, that Turkey fires its Tariffs, a short-range ballistic missile, for the third time in the Black Sea. Initially tested at 560 kilometers, its range is set to expand to 1,000 kilometers. The Tariffs, a ballistic missile, short-range ballistic missile, goes hypersonic speeds, making it obviously difficult to intercept. We've also got some news today coming from Syria. So we've got news that the Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara arrives in the capital city of Saudi Arabia, where he met with the Crown Prince. So Syria's new president in Saudi Arabia, this by the way is the new Syrian president's first foreign visit abroad from Syria. So al-Shara held a meeting with the Saudi Crown Prince. So let's just get into it right now, the key statements. So Saudi Arabia actually announces a new medical support for Syria, with 61 specialized Saudi doctors arriving in Damascus to provide healthcare services. So Saudi Arabia is now sending pretty much very good Saudi doctors to try and help the situation in Syria. We've gotten some news coming from Israel today that Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, is on his way to meet Donald Trump as we speak. Probably by the time this video goes up, Benjamin Netanyahu is probably already in the White House. And the next news we'll be talking about today is coming from Iran, where we've got news Iran has unveiled its new 1,700 kilometer ballistic missile. So I'll just go over what we know about this new ballistic missile that Iran has presented the world with. So the new missile's name is Ethman. So Iran has introduced the Ethman missile, meaning trust in Persian, as its latest defense advancement. The missile was revealed in Tehran, the capital city of Iran, during during a ceremony attended by the president of Iran, according to IRNA media. The Iranian president emphasized that Iran's defense and space developments are for deterrence, not aggression, ensuring that the country dares to invade. The Itman missile measures 60 meters long, 1.25 meters in diameter, and has a maximum range of 1,700 kilometers, expanding Iran's missile reach. So, with this extended range, the Itman missile enhances the Iranian missile arsenal. And that's all the news we've gotten today. I'm Don Scene News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.